Okay, so welcome back. And so what we're going to go over now is some examples of addition of fractions. So remember what I said in a previous video at the very beginning when we started talking about fractions, that we can't combine fractions unless they're the same kind, right? So this is what I'm talking about. So when we add or subtract fractions, they have to have the same denominator. They have to be the same kind of fraction. If we're trying to add fourths and thirds, we can't do it. It's like trying to put apples and oranges together, trying to make them the same. It's not going to work, okay? So we have to make them the same kind, which means the denominators have to be the same. So when the denominators are the same, it's easy. Okay, so that's what we're going to start with. We're going to start with adding fractions that have the same denominator, and then we're going to say, okay, well, what do we do if they're not the same denominator? Then we have to make them, we have to change them into a common denominator, and that's where the rule of 4 comes in that I talked about before, in multiplying and getting equivalent fractions. So this all goes back to our discussion on equivalent fractions. Okay, and so let's get going. So now, here we have, it's very easy. In order to add fractions with common denominators, what do we mean by common denominators? That they have the same denominator. So if you have fractions that have common denominator, then all you have to do is add the numerators together and keep the denominator. Add the numerators and keep the denominator. So add across the top and keep the bottom. So we can combine. So when we have common denominators, we can combine the fractions like so. So this would be 1 plus 3 over 5. And then all we have to do is add, and we get 4/5. Okay, so that's all I'm going to do for all these problems is just add across the top and keep the bottom. So if I have 8ths, right, these are the same, so I can just add them together, because remember, the numerator just tells us how many of those pieces we have. So all we're just doing is adding pieces when they're the same. So this is just going to be 4/8, which then reduces to 1/2. Right, so we always want to see if we can reduce whenever possible. And then of course, if we have here, we got 2/7 plus 3/7 is going to equal 5/7. Okay, and that's in lowest term. Now again, what if we have 3 or more fractions? As long as they're all the same denominator, then all we have to do is add across the numerator and just keep the denominator. So this is going to equal 3 plus 1 plus 5, which is 9 over 12. And then of course this can be reduced because we can divide the top and the bottom by 3, and so we get 3/4, and we're done. And that's how you add fractions that have common denominators. Have a great day.